Hi, my name is Jorge, and today's Jorge Talk is going to be about delusion. Now, delusion sounds like a bad thing, right? Delusion sounds like being overconfident, having too much ego, being unrealistic with your expectations. But what if I told you that delusion can be your biggest friend going to success? Think about it. Conor McGregor. I'm sure a lot of you know who he is, and if you don't, search him up. He's a UFC fighter, the face of the UFC. And a lot of people, for the longest time, would have called him delusional. I mean, he would say he was going to get to the UFC when he was just a plumber from Ireland whose girlfriend was paying his rent. When he got to the UFC, he said he would be double world champion. He said he would knock out these top level guys in 30 seconds. And everybody called him delusional until it finally happened. And now nobody has anything to say. He shut everybody's mouth. I have a personal story also. Back when I used to play basketball, there was this guy on my team who was quite possibly the best player on the team. He would score like 20, 30 points per game. And I always thought, what is it about him that makes him be able to score so many points? Because I would train more than him. I would have more passion than him. He just seemed like he didn't really care. But the thing that separated him from me and from all the other players was his level of delusion. He thought that if he got the ball from half court and shot it, it would go in. And so lots of times it would happen. He would get the ball from deep three and he would shoot it and it would just go in. And every time he'd get the ball, it's like he was a superstar. He would just dribble, light work, and layup. And everybody was like, what the fuck? I mean, the guy was good, don't get me wrong, but what carried his style, what carried the amount of points he got, is the level of delusion he had. All this to say that delusion is the best thing you can have. Now, you might be thinking, Jorge, but if I have delusion, people will make fun of me and they'll say, oh no, your goals are too big or you're too cocky, etc. Yes. If you think that you can become a multimillionaire by 25, people will call you delusional. If you think that you can become the world champion, the boxing world champion, the UFC world champion, people will call you delusional. If you think that you can lose weight when your family has a history of obesity, people will call you delusional. And you know the worst part? They'll be right 99% of the time. But the 1% of the time that they'll be wrong and you'll be right is the time that matters, because that is the time that will change your entire life. So let me give you an example in case you haven't been convinced on being delusional yet, okay? Let's say there's two kids. They both are 14, they both are 200 pounds, and they're morbidly obese. Now, one kid is trying to lose weight, but he's super inconfident. His family is telling him he can't lose weight. His friends are calling him fat. Everybody's saying he can't lose weight. And he himself, at night, cries himself to sleep and tells himself, I can't lose weight. Who am I kidding? Then we have the other kid. Same height, same weight, same genetics, everything. But this kid doesn't listen to anybody. He says, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how crazy it sounds. I am going to lose all this weight. It's going to happen. And I'm going to work towards it. Who's going to lose weight? Kid number one or kid number two? Obviously, you said kid number two. Why? Surely because if you delude your mind into thinking something, your mind has no other choice but to try and complete it. Do you understand? If you are a man who has respect for himself and who has honor for himself and has his word intact, because as Scarface said, all I have is my word. Once you say something, you're going to try your absolute best to do it. So if you say something crazy, you're going to try your absolute best to do something crazy. And there's this saying that it says, aim for the moons, you might hit a star. And that's completely true, because if you aim for something crazy and you work every day in, day out, you might not get there, but you might get closer than you ever thought you would get. You might get to somewhere you didn't even know you could get. You couldn't even dream. You couldn't even fathom of getting there. So, steps on how to be delusional. It's actually very simple. Today, right now, you're just going to switch your mind. It's no hack, it's no little trick, no tip. It's just changing who you are. You've gone from John, if your name is John, who you are right now, to John V2. Now, John V2 thinks he can do anything in the world if he puts his mind to it. John V2 thinks he's the absolute shit. John V2 isn't going to let anything get in the way of his goals. And that's an action, not an action, that's a mindset shift you can make right now. It's that simple, bro. You can just decide today to just become delusional. Isn't that crazy? So go ahead, decide to become delusional. Most importantly, put action behind it, because if you have a crazy goal and you're in your bed all day, or you're scrolling TikTok all day, or doing things you know you shouldn't be doing, things that aren't going to get you closer to that point B, there's no point. So pair delusional mindset with insane action, and you'll get success. And I'll be along with you. Anyways, see you, bro.